and gentlemen, boys and girls, Chaseontwowheels here at Mountain Motorsports in Roswell for what is probably my most look forward to first ride of this year. In front of us, my friends, we have the 2022 Yamaha YZF R7. Now, I know a lot of you guys already have seen it. We did the press introduction for this motorcycle. Thank you, Yamaha, for inviting us out. But it was at a track. I told Yamaha there at the track, I was like, I really wish I had this on the road because they made this bike for their own. We'll get into all the details of that later. But guys, this is this is it. I'm here for this, man. I'm so excited. Let's just get this thing started and cut all the bullshit. Make sure to hit that like button if you guys are excited for a first ride of the R7 on the street where it belongs. Let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what it looks like. That's what it sounds like. Now, before we get going, I cannot wait to show you guys the camera car footage we have. And we would not be able to have that camera car footage if it wasn't for the supporters we have over on Patreon. So let's do a Patreon ad spot real quick so we can pay for that camera car gas. And then we'll get this thing going.
So guys, this first start is brought to you by the Wreck Bike Rebuild Garage Patreon page. If you guys don't know, we run a show called Wreck Bike Rebuild Garage where we take wrecked motorcycles, we take them into the shop, we rebuild them, and we turn them into the dream motorcycles you guys are looking at right here. If you guys want to sign up, you can do so for as little as $5, and part of that Patreon page is you get week ahead content, you get other posts that we do only to that Patreon page, and you get to help us decide what stuff we do to each of the dream bikes to build them. That top link down below will take you over to the page. Hope to see you guys there.
All right, everybody, that's it. All the bills are paid. Thank you very much. And let's get this thing going. You guys have sat through enough. I'm sure you're as excited as I am. R7, my God, this thing is light. By the way, Mountain is closed today. That's why the parking lot is empty. But I'm trying to get this video in before it rains. All right, so sitting on the bike, incredibly light. You will be shocked at how light this thing is. I am 5'10" with a 32-inch inseam. I can flat foot with both legs bent slightly. I have full control of my motorcycle, and it's light, so I don't even need it, but I have it. Let's get it going, guys. Before we get out of here, I would love to invite all of you guys to join our Discord. It's totally free, and it's a place we spend during the week talking about motorcycles. That's where I get first ride suggestions. I get gear suggestions to review for you guys. So I'd love to have you guys over on Discord. There'll be a link down in the description. Please go check that out. And I look forward to hanging out with you guys there. Let's do this thing, man. 2022 Yamaha YZF R7. Let's go! So guys, we are here on the road with the R7. For you guys that live under a rock and aren't aware, the R7 is the same platform, and when I say platform, I mean engine, that the MT-07 has. It is also the same engine that the Tenere 700 has. Yamaha has somehow made this one incredible engine fit all of these different platforms, and these entirely different platforms. So today we're going to be testing out the Sport platform. As you guys know, the MT-07 is more, it's the naked version. It's more of the motorcycle made for the road. People love the R6, but the R6 is not practical on the road. The R7 is made to be practical on the road. And if it is or not, we're gonna find out today. All right, guys, let's talk about body position here on the R7. You are going to be in the attack position, the race position. My legs are tucked up, my back and my upper torso is forward, arms are hanging low. This body position, very reminiscent of the R6. You are very much in that attack pose. You can very easily scoot back a little bit, tuck down to get behind the windscreen. You know, that's what this body position's all about, is like technical hard riding, track riding and stuff like that. So guys, riding the R7 here on the street, I can tell you the first thing that comes to my mind, and the thing that stands out the most right now, is how light this motorcycle is. I truly can't really tell that this thing is much heavier than something like an R3 or a Z400 or a Ninja 400, I guess. The bike is just incredibly light, and I do know for a fact that this is Yamaha's thinnest motorcycle they've ever made. As you guys can maybe tell, it's a very thin bike. Maybe you guys can tell from the camera car angle. That thinness makes it look light, but it actually is incredibly light. I'm moving it back and forth in the lane, and it takes nothing to move this thing around traffic. Transmission wise, we're getting a really good tactile feel when I'm shifting gears. I love that. Popping into neutral, I get like a little mini click to get into neutral, so that's solid. And we're gonna go ahead and need to get in this other lane. And luckily this thing is thin and nimble and agile, and I can get wherever I need to get. Love that about the R7. And then we've got the power, which is made to be better for the street, which I love. So as you guys could see back there, we're kind of getting through traffic. That is where this lightweightness is going to be so clutch, no pun intended. This bike being so light and so easy to maneuver makes it very easy to get through traffic, even at low speeds, which is typically where these bikes suck, especially the R6. It is bigger, it is heavier. And getting through traffic, going slow in this kind of attack body position, this body position is not intended for you to be going slow and maneuvering. When you give me this body position, but you put me in a lightweight platform, it makes it so I can actually maneuver through cars relatively easily, and I don't have to really worry about it. That's one thing I think a lot of people would have a hard time with if they went from the R3, say, to the R6. You have a lot of weight to deal with in an attack body position, and that is hard to maneuver. And like, let's be real, like when you're in traffic, you're going to be riding around like that. You're not going to be going, you know, I mean, you could be going super fast on the highway. It's fully capable. But a lot of your time is going to be spent riding in traffic, and that bike sucks in traffic. There's no way to get around it. All right, guys, since we have the 45th red light, let's go ahead and look at the tack and the cluster area. So as far as the info panel, I think the information is laid out really well, but if I look back here and I look at the entire cockpit view, I do feel like this is a little tiny. I wish it was a little bit bigger. And I'm kind of okay with the dash. I don't love it. I would love to see more of a TFT dash, and you know, maybe the 2024 model or something like that will have a TFT dash. The problem is this is a price point motorcycle. They're trying to get the price down. So I don't know how many of you guys care about TFT dashes. I would prefer to see them. But if it's going to increase the price by a ton, I don't got to have it. Peppy little engine be getting us around traffic, and it feels phenomenal. I'm always in the right gear to have a little bit of, wow, we're literally going to leapfrog all of these cars. That's hilarious. That's a good point about this engine though, guys. I was telling you guys that this is the same engine in the MT-07 and in the Tenere. It is a much more peppy engine. It has much more down low power, whereas the R6 has very high end power. You've got to crank that thing's RPMs all the way to the rev limiter if you want to really get any of the power out of that motorcycle, whereas the R7 is almost polar opposite. It's got torquey power down low, but that's going to make it beautiful for riding on road. Just riding through this traffic, it's kind of helpful that we have a lot of traffic today, because it doesn't matter if I'm in the right gear. Maybe I'm a gear too high, and I've got that peppy power. Whenever I feel like jumping through traffic, I have the power to do so. Here's the thing. The R6 is more of a race motorcycle, and I think Yamaha still is going to offer it as a race bike. That thing is phenomenal on the highway. So with the R6, the difference though is that when you get that thing revved up, it is a rocket ship. So this thing's good down here, you know, in streets, not going too fast, but we got a highway to get to. And I want to know how this engine platform is going to handle the highway, because that all of our power is really focused down low, right? So do we have that passing power? I don't know. Let's find out. I will say before we get onto this, I do not expect this motorcycle to perform as good as an R6 on the highway. Let's get that out of the way right now. Get over a lane. All right, here on the highway with the R7, I can already tell you the body position alone makes the highway feel way better. We'll get in this lane and we'll just chill out here. And as motorcycles do, the faster we go, the more stable we get. I was a little worried at how light this motorcycle was for the highway, but you know, I got to tell you guys, we're going 85, 86. I'm not getting blown around at all. I feel like I've got a good trajectory here, and now we got an opening, so we're gonna wait for this big turn and we'll give it some gas. So I'm not feeling that lightness right now. I don't feel like I'm getting blown all around, and you guys know this highway specifically, the wind's really bad, but it's good for me because I can test it for you guys. And that lightness is not translating to feeling fragile here on the highway. But we are going in 5th gear at 82, so we don't have a lot of room to play with. We're gonna downshift and rev her up a little bit. Let's go to 4th. Can we get a 3rd? Oh, we can. All right. Let's see what it's got. We are ringing this thing out, by the way, guys. That's 5th. 120, and we could go into 6th, and we got traffic. I mean, respectively, I think this bike can probably do 125, 130, depending on the rider. I'm a bit of a hefty boy, so the bike's got a lot to pull around. But maneuverability wise, phenomenal. Oh man, the R-Class bikes always feel so good on the highway. They've got the body position locked down. So just for you guys that want to commute on this thing, let me slow down a bit to reasonable speeds. I really love this body position. I've ridden an R6 for like 5 years, and I've got the body position down for commuting on the highway. And you know, you got the one hand on the leg, your other hand's on the throttle, just chilling. This is easy right here, guys. 6th gear going 80, looks about 55 RPM. This is chill, totally commuter possible. You're not gonna be able to be a psychopath on the highway. It will take some time to build up that power, but passing power, you have plenty of it here. Slow down a little bit just so we can get a feel for what this bike feels like on the turn. But if you guys want to know what this bike feels like on a turn, I would highly recommend you go watch the intro video where we did the press launch, because that was at a track. You know, it's not here on city streets. And as I already know, super light, super easy to flick in. The bike just falls over in a turn. Feeling phenomenal. It feels locked. Such a good bike, and for $9,000. That's another thing that we need to hit on with this bike, guys. It's $9,000. It is a sub $10,000 motorcycle that is just like, for the price, it's incredible what you get for $9,000. I do think that if you are one of those guys that buys a motorcycle to go on the highway, to go super fast, and you know, super fast is relative because some people might think 120 is super fast. But if you're looking for a bike that you're going to be able to get on the highway and just be a rocket ship, I don't think this is the bike for you. Honestly, I think there are much better motorcycles. I mean, granted, you're going to pay way more. But even, you know, even the R6 for that matter, if you're looking for a bike that's going to scare you on the highway, the R7's not going to really be that. This is that lightweight, flick around, enjoy in traffic, be able to ride around comfortably in traffic like this, and for a really good price point. But guys, before I keep going in on the R7, let's cut over to the camera car and see what those guys think about the bike.
So I think this is a really cool motorcycle offered out from Yamaha. If I'm correct, Brian, it brings more power back to the mid-range.
Yeah, that parallel twin is a more mid-range torquey bike.
I like how it looks, and I'm excited to give it a ride.
I also very much like the R7. Maybe I'm not the biggest fan of the name, as the bike as a whole is a really, really nice offering from Yamaha. Lightweight, middle-range powered bike that is going to do fantastic on the street and still be plenty of fun to ride in the mountains, and you know, even to do a track day here or there. It's going to be a great machine. I'm a big Yamaha fan all the way around anyway. I really like their design language, the amount of R&D they do on their machines, so I'm expecting this thing to sell very well and get rave reviews.
Alrighty, camera car guys, thank you very much, and thank you Cardo for being our sponsor for Bluetooth communications while riding and keeping us safe. Back to that power thing, I know a lot of people are going to get confused with the R7 versus 6. 7's a bigger number. You think the R7's faster than the R6. It's actually not. The R6 is a much faster motorcycle. It also costs $3,000 more, which is a 30% price jump. So, you know, you got to keep these things in mind. It's actually more than 30%. Anyway, having done the little bit of riding I have here, mixed with that press launch track day, I can tell you guys without a shadow of a doubt, if I was to go back in time and I could either give my earlier self, I could give myself this bike, or I could give myself the R6 and say, Chase, you can have one of these, there is no doubt in my mind I would give my old previous self the R7. One, I think I would become a better rider, because I think I jumped to the R6 a little too early in my riding career. So I went from an SV650 to an R6. And that doesn't seem like that big of a jump, but the type of riding difference was massive. I think had I transitioned to something like an R7, I would have, one, probably still been riding the R7, because I have now transitioned to an MT10, which I love, totally happy with my MT10. But I think I would have ridden the R7 more, because it's less of a pain to ride. My back's not hurting as much. I feel like I can control the bike more because of how light it is and how thin the bike is. Honestly, I kind of like the looks of the R7 more than I like the looks of the R6. I don't want to get too crazy into looks, but because, you know, they are subjective, but I think the R6 is one of the best looking bikes on the market. And now I think the R7's probably in my top 5 of bikes as far as looks go. This thing is just so rideable. Since we have the 50th red light we're now getting, let's look at the controls real quick, guys. So this is one of the kind of cool things. Super simple, right? We have ABS on the bike, no traction control. We do have a quick shifter, and as far as the controls go, it's relatively light. We've got the kill switch here, the starter here. We have the hazards, which is really cool. You know, this helps you cycle through all your information, trip 1, trip 2, odometer, air temperature, bike temperature, blah, blah, blah. We have brights, blinkers, and a horn. It's a very simple motorcycle. So that's one of the kind of pros that, or I look at it as a pro. Some people like all the tech stuff, and I do like all the tech stuff, but some people like just having a, hey, don't put stuff in the middle of me riding a motorcycle. Just give me the motorcycle and I'll do all the work. Other than the ABS, that's really the only electronics you're going to have. Some bikes have a lot of electronics, and I love that. There's also more raw motorcycles, and that's the category the R7 is going to be in. It's a very raw motorcycle. There's no traction control between you and the motorcycle. There's no electronic rider modes that you got to deal with. It's literally just you and the bike. And for the R7's platform, I kind of dig that. I feel like the CP2 engine here on this bike, very manageable. I don't think you necessarily need traction control, but I do love the fact that I have ABS. Also, I saw the dudes at the press launch wheeling the hell out of this bike. And I don't know how they did that. But yeah, with as manageable as the CP2 engine is, I don't really miss traction control. I don't really feel like I need it. I was giving it some go juice on the press launch, and I never had a traction issue. So I don't know if we need that here. I am really happy to see ABS on this bike though, because I imagine a ton of people are going to get this maybe after they get an R3. ABS is something that is just a really nice safety feature, and for you to not want ABS, you have to be a very experienced rider. And there may be some people that pick up the R7 for a track bike, and for those people, I could probably see ABS being a little annoying. Granted, you'd have to be a really advanced rider to really be able to tell that. In my experience, you know, I've given it some brakes pretty hard here. Haven't had the ABS turn on in the front, but I have had the rear ABS cut on a couple times. And I will say, I'm really happy with the ABS on this thing. It's very subtle. It doesn't like surprise me at any point in time. It just kind of comes on. You can slightly feel it in the rear foot peg. Something I will say is slightly intrusive is the quick shifter. And I thought this on the track day as well. When you use the quick shifter, if you guys don't know, quick shifter, you literally just press the shifter up, no clutch involved. And now we're in third. But as you saw, the bike jerks a good amount. Now, just for you guys to know, the quick shifter does not come on the R7. It's like a $120, $150 edition. I think it's a little abrupt, and even at the track, I wasn't really a fan of it. Granted, I'm not like trying for track time or, you know, the best lap time or whatever. I'm just enjoying the ride. But I didn't really like the quick shifter, man. I really ended up just shifting it myself. So if I were you guys, I'd skip out on the quick shifter, just my personal opinion. Another thing that I have been noticing about the ride is the lightweightness of the forks. Now, or the front of the motorcycle, I guess in general, when you're going lower speeds, you are able to maneuver in and out of traffic, but at these kind of medium speeds, like 49, 50, like look how much you can wiggle the motorcycle. I don't know, I don't even know how to resolve this. But the bike feels great at speed on the highway. In turns, feels phenomenal. Here on city streets, I think it's a little too light. I wish I could stiffen up. I wish I could have a steering stabilizer. I guess that would be helpful. A steering stabilizer would probably be really nice on this motorcycle because I feel like the front's a little too light. Is that a thing? Maybe it's a thing. I don't really know. But then we're going in low speeds and I can just maneuver around stuff, and then I like it. Maybe I don't even know what I like. Maybe that's the problem. Another thing that's really important around with riding in town and whatnot is the clutch. If you guys don't know, clutches can feel heavy and light. Heavy means the clutch takes a lot of energy to pull in. A light clutch means it very easily goes in. I love the clutch. It is a very light clutch. If I was going to do more riding, like more like technical riding, I may want something a little more firm, just because that's my personal preference. So it's a very light clutch, but that's going to make it very easy for new riders to pull it in and stuff like that. And that mixed with the really solid transmission, you're going to have no questions about like, what gear did I get in? Also, we have a gear indicator, which is super nice for the newer riders not really knowing what position they get into. Also, I haven't talked about the throttle. God, and I don't have time. So guys, we're going to pull off right up here and take a little walk around the motorcycle. And I promise to you, I will get to brakes and throttle after this. All right, guys, I know we have done all the cinematic shots of the motorcycle, but I'm going to walk around it very quickly. And look, maneuverability. So cool. For real, though, it is very maneuverable. 2022 Yamaha YZF R7. So cool. I love this bike. I love this bike so much. I got to tell you guys, I've been kind of flirting with having a track bike, and now Yamaha comes out with this, and I'm like, bruh, especially after I did the press launch, this bike looks so cool. Look at the headlight. So it looks cool here, but you have to take it in with the lights on. You need the DRLs. Look at the face. Oh my God. I love this thing. All right, let's look at it. We got the Yamaha Racing Blue. Love the little detailing here. R7 definitely needs an exhaust, no doubt in my mind, like a Acro or something like that. Tail tidy, absolutely necessary. These bikes do really good with tail tidies, though. You know, they cut everything off up to here, and the license plate goes up there, and they look solid. But here's my thing, dude. For $9,000, brand new, $9,000, you get this thing. People think you got an R1. They don't know the difference in an R3, 6, 7, and 1. I don't know what to say about it. This is probably currently my favorite looking motorcycle. It's either this or a Panigale. I think they did a phenomenal job. We've got this aluminum stress member here to add rigidity to the motorcycle. You can feel that when you ride it. It's phenomenal, man. I imagine if you got some sort of crash protection, be able to tap in right here for like a frame slider or something. Yamaha does the tail justice. I don't think anybody else in the motorcycle game is doing as good of tails as we're seeing right here. Couldn't imagine anything better. You got the cool little flow in here. I love this bike, man. I love this thing so much. So, since I love it so much, got to post a photo on Instagram. Now, if you guys aren't following us on Instagram, we are at C2WPics. We always post behind the scenes of the first rides we're doing and a little behind the scenes stuff of the other shenanigans we get into. And if you go follow us, you can see this photo right there. Boom. Easy enough. We're also on TikTok, funny enough. We're trying to figure out what first ride videos look like on TikTok. So if you guys aren't following us, we're C2W. We're Chaseontwowheels over on TikTok. We are C2WPics over on Instagram. Okay. I told you guys that I would talk about the throttle, and I told you I would talk about the brakes. We don't have a lot of time. Let's finish it up. All right, so guys, like I told you guys, we're going to talk about the brakes and the throttle real quick before we end this video up. But before we get to that point, we need to brake. God. Woo! You are not going to find yourself needing brakes. Now, here's the thing. I already rode this bike on the track. I already know that the brakes are plenty. That was one of the things that I was kind of nervous about when I did the press launch of this bike. I wanted to come down the front straight way faster, but I was nervous in my riding ability. But as the day progressed, I started getting more confident in the brakes. And that's one of the nice things about having ABS, is if you somehow give it too much braking in a city situation, the ABS is going to handle you. So I started getting more and more comfortable with the bike, and I started laying into these brakes, man. I'm talking going 110 and slowing all the way down to like 20 or 30, like in an instant. I really like the way these brakes are. I think they're going to be great for a new rider because they come on, you know, it's a very progressive brake feel. It starts light and gets stronger and stronger and stronger. It makes it way easy to brake correctly. They're not going to bite up front and, like, you know, send you into a stoppy situation. All right, so guys, throttle wise, I feel like I am connected to this motorcycle. It is the same throttle, I believe, as the MT-07, and I feel so connected with the bike. Whatever the type of throttle is, go read a specs page. I don't care what the type of throttle is. All I know is it feels great, very responsive. It's not one of these bikes where I twist the throttle and I feel like I'm requesting the bike to go faster from a computer. Like, I'm connected there, you know what I mean? And I love that feeling. It adds to this kind of raw bike vibe that the R7's got going on. All right, guys, to wrap this thing up, you know, I've told you guys in the launch video, this is where I want to ride the R7. This is where I want to test it out in arguably less fun riding. You know, I was out riding this thing on a track. Of course I'm going to have a good time. But you guys might not be buying this for a track bike. You might be buying this as an everyday bike. So I feel like for you guys, this video is more important. And I've got to tell you, everything that I thought this bike was, it has come to fruition. This bike is an infinitely better motorcycle for the street. I love the way that linear power is delivered, and it makes it incredibly easy for me to ride around traffic, ride around here where I'm stop and go. The R6, you just had to wring it out so much to start going. And from the get-go, from the time I get to that red light, I'm going to be in peak power mode and I can do whatever I want that fast. It makes it such a cool bike to ride because you get all the positives of the R6, right? You get these cool looks, you get this aggressive body position, but you have an easy platform as far as engine goes to ride. You get that power when you actually need it, not way high up in the clouds that you got to work for. At an instant, I can go. And that's what I need here on the street. You know, I don't have time. I got traffic and stuff to deal with. I don't have time to get the bike in the right gear and all this kind of stuff. I just need to be ready to go at that instant. And I honestly think this is going to be a safer bike, not only for people that don't know how to control a throttle, but it's going to help you get in and out of trouble situations. You know, you see somebody coming over, you're like, oh shit, you got to jump in another lane. You got the power to do that no matter where you are, whereas in an R6, bro, you might as well be in an R3 if you're in the wrong gear. Anyways, guys, I have thoroughly enjoyed this first ride. I wish I had more time on it. Luckily, Yamaha is letting us borrow this until September something. So we are going to be making damn near weekly content on this R7. So make sure to subscribe to the channel if you guys want to see those videos. And if you've made it to this point in the video, make sure to hit the like button, guys. It is super helpful. If there is something we did not touch on with the R7, please let us know in the comments. We have this motorcycle in the shop for a good while. We can make any video you guys want to see. So if we didn't hit on something, drop us a comment down below and let us know what we need to hit on in another video. Guys, I'm Chaseontwowheels. This has been a Chaseontwowheels first ride. Shout out to Yamaha for letting us borrow the R7 for a little while. And big thanks for Mountain Motorsports. Typically, that's where we do our first rides at. And we appreciate them for letting us borrow motorcycles. If you want to find out information about Mountain Motorsports, we'll have links down in the description below. Guys, you guys go ride safe. I appreciate you riding around with me today. And I'll see you on the next one. All right, guys, if you're still watching the video, that means you made it to the outro crew, which means you've got to do a couple things. One, obviously hit the like button, but I don't really have to tell you guys that, right? Right? Cool. So next up, you do need to make a comment because you watched to the end of it, and you're awesome. When you make that comment, make sure you put OC in your comment because that stands for outro crew. That way, when I'm looking through all these comments, I'm like, those guys actually made it to the end of the video. You have a lot of these guys that just comment and they don't really watch the whole video, but I know you guys do. It also makes me love you a long time. And guys, let me know in the comments, should this be my next track bike? Do I need a track bike? Do I need to lose weight before I start doing track days? These are all the questions I want you guys to answer in the comments down below, and it's because I love you a long time, and it's because I know you guys enjoyed this video because you watched the whole damn thing. Alright guys, I'm Chase, love you guys longer, and if I can get out of this BMW, I'll actually enjoy this ride. I'll see you guys on the next one. Later. By the way, the answer to do I need to lose weight is an absolute, like, unquestionable yes. It is getting unhealthy in this bitch.